All right. This is John King. I'm speaking with Tobin Shearer. He's a professor at the University of Montana. And I was calling you because I noticed that you're on, I guess, a watch list. And I was hoping you could just kind of explain what's going on here and how you feel about it as a professor.
Sure. So I found out last fall, towards the end of November, that a group called Turning Point had established what they deem a professor watch list. And on this watch list, they've identified what they have labeled dangerous professors because of, open quote, left-leaning or radical, close quote, perspectives. They contend that those on that list are promoting a radical agenda in the classroom. And turns out I was on there. I'm currently the only professor on it from Montana, for whatever a dubious distinction that might be. And, I could tell you a lot more, perhaps there's specific questions you have about the whole experience.
Yeah, I'll float in some. So you find out you're on the list. How did you get, how do you get submitted? I mean, do you know how you got it, how you ended up on the list? Because that's a lot of professors to be left of.
Yeah, there's a lot of professors. That's right. I gave a lecture at MSU over in Bozeman about 2 years ago on the history of racism in the United States, and that got picked up by another conservative group called Campus Reform. And then Turning Point used their article that they wrote about it as a claim that I was doing this nefarious business in the classroom. The reality is their reporting was about a public lecture I gave and has nothing to do with what I do in the classroom. So that's sort of problem number one with what
What were you talking about? Can you tell us what you were talking about?
I was talking about racism in the United States. I gave an overview of the history of slavery, talked about the development of institutional racism, and explored the dynamics of white privilege in our country. And the open forum, great discussion, actually. It was a wonderful evening. Had a wide group of attenders, both from students and the community, and had a really great discussion. But apparently those in this organization found that problematic.
So let's talk about how do you feel it affects your job? I mean, does it matter at all to you? Do you think even people look this up? Because there's a lot of stuff online these days, right?
There's a lot of stuff online. This particular list has gotten a lot of national attention. I've received emails from across the state, across the country, and around the world, almost all of them positive, checking in on me to be sure I'm okay. And I want to be very clear, the University of Montana has been nothing but supportive. They issued a statement soon after it came out in support of free speech and the professor's right to explore their intellectual trajectory as they see fit according to their scholarly interests. And my colleagues have been uniformly supportive from across the university. So it hasn't really had a negative impact in terms of what I do in the classroom or how I relate to my colleagues around me. Now, there's been some quirky elements in it. I mean, my public profile has been ramped up. I've been stopped in public numerous times. Most often people, saying, hey, I saw the article you wrote about this and the inclusion on this list, we want to, send our support. The one that freaked me out the most, though, was when I was flying out from the airport and the TSA agent checking my passport looks up from it and says, hey, I recognize you from the article you wrote about this in the Independent. And that was just a little bit off-putting. But it hasn't affected my scholarship. It hasn't changed the way I teach, hasn't changed the way I interact with my students, hasn't changed the way I do my scholarship.
Do you think it's unfair? I mean, do you feel like you've been given obviously being known in the community is a blessing and a curse. As a radio guy, right. I kind of feel your pain here. But